My name is Ozetta Harris, and I'd like to share with you my experience, strength, and hope. My journey from destruction to God's divineness. My mom's a big woman, pretty woman, and she was light on her feet, and she liked to dance. So she would go out and dance, she'd drink and all that stuff like that, and my father gave her freedom. One day, my mom was going out and she told me and my brother, don't touch the steps, stay on the porch. I pretended like I was going to jump off the porch, and my brother, he just pushed me off. So not only did I fall into a burning fire, I fell into glass too, and whatever rubbish was burning. I wake up and I'm in the ambulance, but I see my dad. So I know everything gonna be okay. Everything gonna be all right. So a little bit after this is when he diagnosed with cancer. I couldn't get a make on cancer or whatever it do to you. Then the next thing, I come home from school and they told me my father passed away. It was a house full of people. They was drinking and laughing and all that. And I'm like, a little bit too much laughter going on if my father just died. And seeing mom, she was still mom. My mother liked to party. And so when my father passed, she turned our house into an after-hour joint, where we live at, where we eat and sleep. Then she had a customer to come by that said, you can make liquor in your house. And she agreed to it. So now, not only is the house an after-hour joint, it's a steal. People would talk about my mom and they would talk about our house. But I ain't give a heck. You're not talking about my mom, you're not talking about my house. So I'm gonna fight. I was always fighting. This is when drinking really takes off, but they didn't know that I had a drink before, I just started drinking on my own. A young 12-year-old girl drinking by herself. But I'm comfortable with this drink because then I'm no longer me. I'm whoever I want to be. And usually I was Betty Davis, Loretta Young, or one of them. I ain't think anything was wrong with it. I really didn't. Until one day I was walking home from school, and the mothers that were sitting on the porch, the housewives, and they said something that just caught my ear. So one of them said, yeah, look at her, she's drunk. And she's staggering, and she's just a 12-year-old kid. And when they said that, I knew something had to be wrong. My school knew something was wrong with me. I was very rebellious. I cussed out all my teachers. Everywhere I went, I disturbed people, and I caused trouble. And I took pleasure in it. And I know today it was because I was so unhappy with me that I wanted other people unhappy too. I didn't treat East Tech kindly at all, nor the teachers, the principal, none of that. And the bathrooms were casinos. They turned the bathrooms into casino, drinking, smoking, gambling. Then I get a little moment of clarity, I'm like, I want to be somebody. I want to do something, because I'm really finding out just about how smart I am. So I slacked up on the drinking for a little bit, and I got a pretty decent job, and I'm starting to feel good about myself. I was a junior accountant. That was something back then. This life-changing thing for me. I messed it up. I messed up my whole career. I'm just thinking, criminal, you just a criminal. Of course, I lost the job, and I get indicted 4 years later. I had embezzled from the bank. My health is not the best because of this drinking. My mom's health really not good because of what happened. Prison was no fun. It was no fun. The guards didn't like me, the inmates didn't like me. Matter of fact, I got beat up real bad. So now when I get out of prison, I can't stay to myself because I was still in that same neighborhood. So I don't want to face them. I don't want to face anybody. All I want to do is drink, but I got a baby. So I can't be, running my baby up and down the street, going to get liquor. So I had a liquor man deliver liquor to me. And then it got to the point where I was just drinking, feed my baby, but I wasn't feeding me. My mom, she would come and check on me periodically, and she would say stuff like, Dag, Zeddy, she said, you getting the baby drunk off your breath. I shaped my life around alcohol. I could stop, but I couldn't stay stopped. The moment something didn't go right, I pick up a drink. And I ain't see no way out but death. And that's how my life was. Then I met my husband. He did not know he was marrying an alcoholic. He always tried to help me. I kept going to jail. He'd be right there to get me. Until one day he said, I think something's wrong with you. And he meant physically, not mentally, because definitely it's a mental issue. And then he said, go to the hospital and get yourself checked out. And then that's when I found out that I got liver damage, So the doctor, he told me, he said, Miss Harris, you're causing damage to your liver. He said, if you don't stop drinking, you won't live past 36. This is the alcoholic that I have become. I leave my warm house and go stand around a barrel with other alcoholics passing around a brown paper bag. Come back home, my husband be like, you smell like smoke. But I was around people that smoked crack, cocaine. So one person said, if you smoke this, you will be able to drink all you want to. And crack cocaine took me places where I never thought it would take me. And it was not my plan to be addicted to this. I'm an alcoholic. And that was my thing. It wasn't really for the crack, it was for the alcohol. But in that process, I developed 2 habits. That's driving me crazy. I'm taking a chance every time I go by it. And I get caught, buying some crack cocaine, and this is when I go to jail for my second time. Did 18 months, and I went for a drug possession. And I kept going back and forth to jail, to the Justice Center. It got so bad to where the guards knew me by name, and was saying, okay, we held your cell for you. Just go into your cell. And it was funny at first. And then it just got to the point where I'm like, I can't live like this. I go in front of this judge, and I know she don't mind me using her name because I've seen her at several events, and I always let her know the impact that she had on my life and how much she helped me to change my life. Because I stood in before her on drug charges, and she said, Miss Harris, she said, something wrong with you. She said, you got more than a drug problem. She said, you have mental issues. And she said, you have deep mental issues. She said, I'm not going to send you to the penitentiary. She said, I'm going to send you to treatment. And then after you do your treatment, I want you to have a psych evaluation. And then I would go to this program called Recovery Resource, which is for dual diagnosis, like for alcohol and drug and mental disorders. I go to the treatment facility, and I like it. We getting fed good. We having group every day. We all sitting there with a common bond. We alcoholics and addicts, and we just there telling each other's story and getting information. Like this is actually a disease. This is not something you just want to do. This is something that's in you, So I got a chance to get a moment of clarity. That fog, I could kind of see. And I knew that this was not the life that I wanted. I understand that I'm going to be an alcoholic and addict the rest of my life. So there's certain things that I have to do. And that's like get a sponsor, get a home group, work the 12 steps, And that's what I did. I stayed sober for like about 3 years, And then my husband passed. And then I just went berserk. I went down real quick, real quick. I was doing stuff that I wouldn't ordinarily do. Because now the drinking and the crack is a hustle. I ain't got this money. So now I got to sell me. I got to sell my possessions. And I thought death was my only way out. But then when I found out like I'm really close to death, now I want to live. I'm like, this life over here ain't jack. So let me go over here and see what this other one like. All I know was to call out to God. So I get on my knees one day and I face to a window. The window was an upper window. Now, the way I'm gonna say this to you is not how I said it to God. I basically screamed and said, God, whatever I did, to deserve a life like this. I said, please forgive me in the name of your son, Jesus, and help me. But I screamed it out. So I leave out the house the next day in the neighborhood I live in. Everybody know me as OZ because I'm a street person, okay? And usually when I walk out my door, they be like, OZ, what you got on it and stuff like that. Not that day. I walk a half a block and two women come up to me talking about Jesus Christ. I said, Dad, where this come from? And then it hit me that I prayed to God and he got to be real because he heard me. And then that's when I said, this God that sit up, this God that sits up so high that I never recognized the day of my life. He heard my prayer. He heard a no good, filthy, prostitute, crackhead, whore, stinking bitch like me. And he sent people my way. And I knew everything was going to be all right. So I found out about God and who he is and what he is and Jesus and how it's not about me. It's about glorifying him. And he chose to work in my life to help me so I can help other people like me. But I still got this liver problem. I had a liver doctor the whole entirety of my drinking, only to go see him to see how much time I had to continue to drink. You know, where I'm at now, doc, how the liver looking? Not let's, get it better. And he always offered up help to me. He said, all you have to do is stop drinking. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. People always want to help me. So I got like about 2 years sober, okay? And I go to him and say, I haven't had a drink in 2 years, and I tell him about how my life changed. I go to church, I go to AA meetings. I'm an AA member. I did my 12 steps, all that. And so he said, well, give me 2 more. He said, because you was tough. He said, you drank most of your life. I gave him 2 more. And then I came back and he started treating me for my liver. It was repairing itself. Then something happened. It went backwards. And he told me that I was going to need a liver transplant. But I did get a liver transplant. And I always think that I could pay God back, but I can't. Because he do it just because he love you. Because he love me. He love us all. It's not that we love him, it's that he love us. So I changed my life. I got a reason to live. And that's to carry God's message. And he worked through people. It's that he worked through me now. So I can help people that went through what I went through. And then maybe they don't have to go to the extent that I did. Maybe they don't have to lose an organ. Maybe they don't have to go insane. Maybe they don't have to do that time in the penitentiary. And most of all, they don't have to walk around thinking they worthless, that they nothing. The same God that helped me is the same God that helped you. He do it for me, he'll do it for you. So I'm active in my church. I'm on the missionary board. I help anybody I can. They don't have to be an alcoholic. I go wherever I can to tell my story. If I see a female at a bus stop and she's drunk, I'm gonna sit next to her and tell her my story. And this is one part that's really good. And you'd think I would be embarrassed about it, but I'm not. I'm proud. Because I'll see people today and they'll say, is that you? What? What happened? I met God and I got sober. He did this. And he was like, I can't believe it's you. Yep, it's me. Same God did it for me, could do it for you. So I see it as an inspiration. So it don't bother me when they say, damn, you was really effed up. And look at you now. Because I was messed up. I just carry this message of my experience, strength, and hope. And I'm grateful. don't lead to the miracle happening, because it is a miracle. All people that recover from alcohol and drugs is a miracle. And it's a miracle from God. Because in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it says no human power that can relieve you from this alcoholism. That's my experience, strength, and hope. And this is something that I say when I share this message of hope. It's something that Shakespeare wrote, but I believe it was inspired out of the Bible. And it says, love all, trust the few, and wrong none. And that's my story.